hey folks, we've got some real issues with this country going on right now. We've got the Attorney General, we've got the leader of the HHS, and the leader of the Department of Justice. I'm talking about Blinken, I'm talking about Mayorkas, and I'm talking about Merrick Garland. All three of these cowards have done nothing but lie to the American people since day one. They are part of the problem with what's going on with our justice system in this country, from open borders to lying to covering Biden's butt with all this corruption that is being exposed right now. These are damage control liars that are trying to placate some kind of innocent on the part of Joe Biden by censoring people, hiding information, and just plain going after anybody that brings up the truth. Now, let me go ahead and get into this. I got lots of reading to do this morning, folks. I'm going to read you about 2 different articles. A little bit of exposure, a little bit more whistleblowing and things we already knew, but we're now got the proof. And James Comer said he'll be bringing some of this to light in the House committees later on over the next 2 weeks. So this ought to be good. Now, let's go ahead and get into what we really know so far about Mr. Blinken and about Merrick Garland that we found out just this week. Ooh, these suckers are dirty. Let's get right into it. It says corrupt, no doubt about it, corrupt Anthony Blinken was behind the gathering of the 50 members of the intel community to lie and sign a bogus letter on the Hunter Biden laptop being Russia disinformation. I know y'all remember that when Joe Biden said, well, we had 50 of our people say that it must have been Russian disinformation. Well, we are now finding out that Merrick Garland was actually the orchestrator of this 50 intel officers lying to try to cover the Biden's butt at this point. Let me go ahead and get into the story a little bit. I'll read you a little bit from it. It says, current Secretary of State Anthony Blinken was reportedly behind the efforts to put together a list of governmental intel leaders to claim that the Hunter Biden laptop was not real. It was Russia disinformation. It was fake news, as they say. The narrative was nothing but another liberal lie, and that's a fact. It says, according to the report of the New York Post yesterday, it was the current Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, who called an intel insider to put together a list of intel leaders who would sign a report stating that the lie that Hunter Biden laptop was not anything but Russia disinformation. That's about the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, but that's their story and they're sticking to it. It says, according to the report, in a sworn interview, Morrell has admitted it was Joe Biden's presidential campaign that prompted the infamous letter in which Morrell and 50 fellow former intel officials falsely claimed that materials from Hunter Biden laptop published by the Post before the 2020 were nothing but Russian disinformation. And we've now have the House Judiciary Committee have confirmed that this letter originated from Mr. Blinken. This was all about damage control over the fact that the laptop was coming out. Information about the laptop was coming out just weeks before the 2020 election. And they were doing their best to do cover up damage control. Nothing to see here. And they've been caught. And he's not the only one. It says, Tony Blinken, now Secretary of State, was behind the Biden campaign Foreign Affairs Advisory, who urgently phoned Morrell in October of 2020 to suggest it was a Russian plant and not a real laptop. It doesn't surprise anyone at the amount of corruption in our U.S. government and the intel community today. It is coming out, unfolding like a blooming onion at this point. So it was Anthony Blinken of the Biden UPenn Center where classified documents were found, and China donated $54 million to what was in charge of getting 51 former intel people to sign a bogus letter earmarks of Russia disinformation about the laptop. He's been caught. It says Jim Jordan says he will release a report in the next couple of weeks tracing the origins of the Dirty 51 letter, showing its constituted corrupt interference in the 2020. Here's the first set of spies identified: Mr. Clapper, Mr. Hayden, Vickers, Weiss, Rasmussen, and the list goes on and on and on. A lot of these are ex-Intel members, and some of these still work in our different agencies, from the FBI, CIA, different departments, just all covering for the Bidens. No doubt about it. Now here is the actual full list, folks. Right here. These people were willing to play ball with covering up crackhead son's business dealings involving everything on the laptop, because the laptop is not just Hunter Biden doing nefarious things with women and drugs, but also transaction reports that are involved as well. That's where they're going to get caught, folks. Now let me go ahead and jump into this other article real quick, but it is definitely a little bit of exposure we're finding out. Blinken and Merrick Garland and Mayorkas, all three are doing their best to lie, obfuscate, and cover for the Bidens all the way since back in 2019 and 2020. Trying to cover his ass before the election got into full swing. It says here, let me get right into it. It says right here, it says, we got to get these folks out of there, folks. These folks are cowards. They're pieces of crap. It's a huge whistleblower uncovers Hunter Biden's cover-up, and Attorney General Merrick Garland was in on it as well. Of course he was. Garland and Blinken, they're partners in crime. They need to both be put before the Judicial Committee and have to answer questions back to back, see which one of them we can catch alive first. So this is a huge story. The Biden gang is well known for being protected by the corrupt Department of Justice, which has gone to hell in a handbasket. And that's an understatement. The Attorney General, Merrick Garland, is protecting them, and we now have the proof. Fox News reported Attorney Mark D. Little, penned a letter calling for a whistleblower privileges regarding his clients and IRS criminal supervisory agent. Got an IRS agent wanting to know what the heck's going on, so he's going to blow the whistle on what he knows. The letter read that the agent previously made legally protected disclosures at the IRS and stated that these disclosures contradicted sworn testimony of Congress by a senior political appointee. And that would be Merrick Garland himself. Or Blinken. Let me see. That would be Merrick Garland. Apologize, folks. I get them two mixed up. They're both a bunch of criminals. Liars in a cheap suit, as far as I'm concerned. It says, my goal is to ensure that my clients can properly share this lawfully protected disclosures with Congressional Committee, Little wrote. Thus, I respectfully request that your committees work with me to facilitate sharing this information with Congress legally and fully informed advice of counsel. This letter was released and shared on Twitter. Anyway, folks, what I was getting to is we now have confirmation from a whistleblower that not only were the Bidens being protected, but they've actually got people to lie for them. And now, not only has mainstream media been protecting Biden this entire time, but we find out that the entire Department of Justice, the Attorney General, and many of these three-letter agencies did their best to suppress anything involving the laptop at this point, including willing to lie and call it Russia disinformation. But now we have an IRS whistleblower alleges the cover-up of Hunter Biden's tax evasion, and an IRS whistleblower has This is the saddest part of this whole situation for me, folks. It's not only that we have corrupt departments, corrupt individuals in all of our three-lettered agencies that are covering for the current administration. That's bad as it is, whether it be Blinken or Garland or several other of these 50-something lying intel agents. But we've also got the mainstream media doing their best to suppress the story by refusing to cover it or repeating the mantra, Russia disinformation, Russia disinformation. We've heard Russia, Russia, Russia so much it is ridiculous, folks. Nobody believes it at this point. But them folks are still lying, and we're in the process of catching them in the lie. It's just a matter of time. We got whistleblowers, like James Comer said the other day. He said, we got whistleblowers waiting in the line to come testify against all that's been done to this country against American citizens in the name of protecting the Bidens. Now, that's all I got for you folks today, but I just want to let you know We're in the process of watching real crimes unfold while they are ignored, while they intentionally try to indict Trump over fake news, fake crimes. Are y'all watching this, folks? It's a ridiculous situation our country is in right now. They are going after probably one of the only honest presidents we've ever had. And in turn, they refuse to look at the man behind the wheel right now that is trying to drive this country off a cliff with this banana republic mentality these socialists are pushing on our country at the moment. This wouldn't be possible without these three-lettered agencies being involved and the checks and balances of the mainstream media refusing to cover it. These are the things that are really disappointing to me. It is such a disappointment for our country that not only do we have intel agencies that are totally corrupt at this point, but are willing to even lie for the current administration. At the same time, when they're doing their best not just to suppress information about the laptop ever since 2020 and create fake dossiers and create Pfizer warrants for Trump. Biden did that, all in the name of trying to protect the Democrat Party. So it's definitely apparent at this point that we're dealing with a two-tiered justice system, and at this rate, now think about this, folks. They're trying to indict Trump over anything they can, while at the same time they willfully lied, covered up, and are actively continuing to suppress and censor information involving what really happened with the Hunter Biden laptop, and a lot of these intel reports that actually prove that the Bidens are definitely doing some influence peddling, some money laundering, and some other alleged crimes involving other countries. And if you ask me, that gets into the T word, but I won't go there, being on YouTube. But that's what I see going on. That's what we're finding out is happening. My question is, when will we get to the point where we can actually get some of these folks out of office for being not just liars, but crooks as well? Like, subscribe, and share, devoted patriots. This all happens for a reason, folks. All this exposure's coming out. They didn't see it coming. They never expected the House to be taken back by the Republicans. And so I hate it for you. It's on you now, as far as I'm concerned. Just a matter of time. We will be getting some answers that we need. Not just the proof of the lies being exposed, but we'll hopefully be able to get some accountability. Accountability is the name of the game at this point, folks, and I cannot wait. Just a matter of time. Like, subscribe, and share, devoted patriots. Everybody have a great day. Over and out.